All right. Well, I will get started here, everyone. My name is Kayla Viveros, and I am a program manager with Polaris MEP. And today we're really excited to present to you one of our partners, MMID. But first, let's chat about what Polaris MEP is and our national network overall. So if we could go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So Polaris MEP is a nonprofit. We are a manufacturing extension partnership. That's the MEP. What that really means is we want to be an extension of our manufacturer's business. We are one of 51 MEP centers nationwide. So there's one in every state plus Puerto Rico. And our job is to make manufacturers more successful and profitable within the US. We're federally funded from NIST, so the National Institute of Standards and Technology, which is funded from the US Commerce Department. And on a day-to-day basis, the way that the NIST has broken down the borders is by state bound. So Polaris MEP, and as you can kind of see in our logo up in the top right there, the RI in our logo is for Rhode Island. So Polaris is Rhode Island's MEP center. Every state has their own version of that and called different things. But again, the core values and mission are the same. We're here to support manufacturers with anything and everything to do with their business to make them more profitable and to keep them here in the US. We often say that we help with the top line, bottom line, and pipeline of your business. But now to kind of get to MMID, we're really excited that they're partners with us. We've had a couple clients in common now, and I've been their model that they're going to share with you today is really unique in comparison. I've been with Polaris for about 7 years now, and I'm totally excited to share what they have going. They truly meet clients where they're at, and I haven't seen a model quite like this before. So you guys are in for a treat in the next kind of, I think, 40 minutes or so here. So I'm going to kick this off, and Tom, I'm going to send it over to you.
Yep.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot for the introduction. My name is Tom Delfos. I'm CEO of MMID. The goal we have with this webinar is already in the title, so that's easy. We know that product development can be a jungle of options, expectations, uncertainties, activities, everything. And we know as product developers that there are possibilities to make this easier by providing the right structure. I will join my colleague Kasper van der Wiel in this webinar, who is one of the most experienced designers we have, and he's also responsible for our innovation model, Lucid. Before we kick off, we give a little bit of context about MMID, so you know who we are. That will be short. Then Kasper will give a breakdown of Lucid, step by step, so you get a little bit of more insight already in the structure. Then we have 2 metaphors that can help understanding it a bit better. And then we would like to discuss 3 cases where we dive a little bit deeper in the first one, and we have 2 ones that we discuss more high level. So you also see in practice how it works, including detailed information. And then at the end, there's the Q&A. We try to keep track on the chat in the meanwhile, and do our best. And then in the end, there's also the opportunity for questions. Let's start with the context. So this is us. This is MMID. We are with 50 plus product developers, all kind of product developers. So it can be more production oriented developers, can be more concept oriented, electronics, all kind of flavors that you need to deliver integral product development. We do this for already more than 33 years. We do around 60 plus customers per year, realizing more or less 100 projects. And we are based in the Netherlands, where we start. So Kasper and I are both Dutch, if you did not hear it already. We are based in Germany as well, and of course in the USA, in Providence. And to give you an idea, we have 4 customers in Rhode Island already, and we are based in the same building as Polaris, where we started 6 years ago. This is The book that we have, it's 1.5 meters long. It's our process that we use every day for all the projects. And what we did, we make a translation in a simplified version that is easier to understand also for people outside of MMID. And that is what we will show. We work for what I said, 60 customers per year. That can be Coca-Cola, can also be customers with 2 employees, 40 employees, 1,000 employees. In the end, we don't care as long as, of course, there's a relation with integral products. And this is, a few customers that we have worked for or we are still working for. Last slide about us to give a little bit of impression. So this is one product we did for Draeger some time ago, where we went through the whole innovation process. So we do concept development, in the end leading to an end product that is ready to go to the market. And in between there are all kind of steps, and that's part of this webinar that we will explain. We do all kind of steps, we deliver all kind of models. So the concept is maturing along the way, and the customer in the end get a product that meets all the requirements and will hopefully be a benchmark product in the market. Kasper.
Thank you, Tom. So good morning, everybody. Let's see if I can see my mouse. Yes. So I will talk you through this Lucid process that we have. The big booklet that you saw before is the one that we use internally. It has all the stages, the milestones, and all the deliverables in there. But for this webinar, we made an outside-in version where we just show the big chunks and also the level that you as a client would be interesting to follow. What you can already see here is that it is a lot. Don't worry, at the end of this webinar, there is the QR code and you can download a PDF of this. And also for now, I would like to take you through this big graphic in chunks. If it wants to, yes. So from the top down, you can already see that the part that we call Lucid is the development process service that we provide, but it's of course a small part of the complete journey of a new product from idea to production. Of course, on the left side, it is all product management related actions, probably in your company on your own, with scoping and a business case, and in the end, after the product development service that we provide, of course, it transitions to the product launch in the market and then to product lifecycle management and continuous production. So the part in the middle is the part that I want to talk about. This is the development that can be chaotic, and we have made a structure. We have provided structure in this development by chopping it up into 7 stages in this case. I will go through these from the results level because the names don't mean anything. In the beginning, first vision that we start with, we take over the vision and the business case description that you probably already made yourself. But usually there is a little bit of deepening needed based on the real product wish and the end market for us to start. Second one, definition. This is where we choose and prove the concept. The aim of this is that we go from big to small, from concept level to detail level, and that in every stage we decide based on the level of content that you need there. So without unnecessary and costly details from the end part. What you also see is that in here we already get out the major risks, the main risks that could jeopardize the development. So at this point, we define what is best to prove, what your product needs to perform in the end to the end clients, and we make sure that it works before we go into the rest of the development. Specification, in order to make the right decisions there, as I will show later in the detailed case, we need to define the product completely to the level that you can see all the functions working. Verification, we will make among a lot of other things, but a fully working, looks like real model, not tool-based, so that you can tick off everything, including involving stakeholders in the market and in your own company and end users if you want. And then the last three of this, the last four of this figure are about getting your product that you have defined now into production and into the market. So those steps are a bit bigger, but there is a lot of work and detailing to be done there. So if you go into the working project itself, you will see from top level a few key moments. First, of course, is the proof of concept. You know that it's going to work. Second one is design freeze. This is not very visible in the project, but it is the moment where everything that will be in the project, in the product in the end, should be in, and everything that is not in needs to be excluded and also accepted by all the stakeholders, management, the developers, product management. That's this point. After then, of course, a big milestone is model verified. This really shows you that everything that you want to have working is not only in there, but it is actually delivering what you want. And then the last three are tooling ordered. If it is injection molding, like in the use case that I will show you, this is a big moment because it's a big investment. Then start of production, of course, important, and then the handover to your internal production. If I go one further, if it wants to. Thanks, Tom. Of course, in our process, the sustainability aspects of product development are integrated, but for this webinar, we made a separate line from it. What we want to show is that it already starts at the vision stage. You set the target and you set your goal and wishes for how well it will perform on sustainability on product level. In the definition phase, we make sure that we know what kind of aspects influence the score and performance on this topic. And during verification, we check if we managed to reach what we wanted to, because there your product is finished. The three blanks after that doesn't mean that there is no attention there, but the sustainability effort and also the things that you can change then revolve more about the logistics and production of your product, not so much about the development. If I go one further, this is a level that I would like to show in the use cases, which we go into later because this is really detailed and there I can accompany it with pictures. Back to you, Tom.
Yep. Yeah, I can use the cursors. Thanks, Kasper. Then we are at the hike. Oh, can you mute again, Kasper? Thanks. This is actually the metaphors we have. So the first one is the hike. We say that every product development is different. So that means that there's different situation, different product, different stakeholders, different requirements, different start and end of the journey. So there are a lot of variables that make every journey, let's say, journey through Lucid is always tailor-made. And it's always together. So it's not that we get input, then we do the whole journey, and then there's output and the customer can continue with product management again. It's always something that you do together. That's why we always use this metaphor. And to visualize it a bit in Lucid Start, we showed a few hikes that could be possible. So of course we can do everything. We can facilitate creating the vision until facilitate the scale up of production and everything in between. What happens a lot of times is that customers have resources to detail the product themselves. Perfect. Then we end after verification. It can even be quicker that we help with the start, and after it's proven, they continue themselves with the models. Sometimes, how we call it, there's a nut to crack, a technical challenge, something really difficult. We just do that trick, and the beginning and the start, the beginning and the end, the customer does themselves. And sometimes they do everything themselves, but we just fly in for a critical review to check if they're on the right level, if they forget something, if they did see all the risks. So we are just there for a limited amount of time, providing quite some value, but with a limited budget. And all the options that you see, you can also put in the mix. So there's an endless set of possibilities with Lucid. The most important thing is that you always know where you are and what's the next step. So that's the navigation, that's always clear. And who's doing what doesn't matter, but we know from experience, you need to go through the whole, through all the phases, through all Lucid to be complete and end up with a good product that meets the requirements. So that's the hike metaphor. There's another metaphor, and that's a funny one. That's a Sudoku, because we think integral product development is like solving a Sudoku. Everything needs to fit in all the directions. And to explain that better, so we have the user requirements, they need to fit. There are production requirements. There's a business case. Technology needs to be realistic. So everything needs to work in a certain planning, in a certain budget, with that customer, with every special thing they have. So it's always the Sudoku that we need to solve. And we know if we solve it as early as possible, then the risks are out as early as possible. And that's always what we do in every stage gate. We solve the puzzle. And of course, in the end, it's fully detailed. To give you an idea where we really solve the puzzle, we have a little visual, which is a bit of different way how we can visualize Lucid. This is an incubator that we did for Draeger as an example. And you will see on the y-axis on the left, there's the investment. The green line is representing that the investment is relatively low in the beginning, in the first phases. It's only the development costs, but the investments go up most of the times at the end of the project or after half of the project, when you need to invest in molds for injection molding or other production tools. And you need to invest in production lines and in sales and marketing. So that's a moment where always the investments for our customers go up. So we'd better have the risk at that moment low. So the trick we do and the puzzle we make is always related to get the risk level down as soon as possible. And I think in the examples you will see very practical how we do that and what kind of things we need to get to that stage. But this is actually the trick of Lucid, getting the risk down as soon as possible, especially when the investments go up. And then the first case, Kasper.
Thanks, Tom. So I want to go into this first case that shows the steps that we did for this company. And I projected them onto the Lucid process that we followed per stage with examples and pictures. This one will be quite extensive also because it was a really big project with a lot of aspects. The other two cases will be a lot smaller, showing that this process isn't just for huge projects, but can be used at will. Priva is a company here in the Netherlands, and their main product is a big software suite that clients can use to manage big buildings. So think about managing the airco, if the lights go on, if you go into a meeting room, also blinds opening and closing, sensors all around the building. And you can imagine that that software needs something to be connected and to talk to all of those sensors and actuators. And that is actually the product that they asked us to help develop. The mission that they came in with, develop a high quality new building control line. The line is important because this is a modular question. So there is kind of a basis setup of a product, and then all the different actuators with different functions are derived from that. They want superior functionality because they are top of the market in their market, with the focus on the installer, because that's really time consuming with these kind of products, brand identity, and ease of use. It's slow to transition. Yes. Every hike is unique. And in this case, the hike was that we started at the end of the vision stage. We developed all the way until a fully proven looks like model. And then we assisted and helped into the final stages towards production, where a system supplier took over, mainly because there's also a lot of electronics involved. I also made a, on the top left of the slide, you will see the decision that you would want to make at the end of every stage. You can imagine if you know what you need to decide at a certain point, then you also know what you need to do to make that decision, to be able to make that decision. So this is our guideline, still from big concept choices to detail, still from big risk management actions in the beginning, getting the risk low, towards the end where it's a lot more about the detailing, but also at each stage, this creates a decision that you need to make. And the trick is that you do everything that you need to do to make that decision, but not more. So this slide you will see changing over and over again. You will see the Lucid in the middle. On the top left, you will see the decision that is needed to be made at the end of this stage. And then I will show you kind of the visuals, pictures of examples of what we did provided to be able to make that decision. It will be not complete. It will be pretty fast, but it will, I hope, give a good overview of what each stage means. So first, vision, of course, the work has already been done at product management level, but especially in this Priva case, because it was a modular project and there were a lot of questions about that. The product market combination, so what do you deliver in the end, needed to be detailed a little bit, and also the project that belongs to it. So what are we stepping into and are we capable of doing this, was a question here. So a few things that we did here, of course, to have a good start of the product, we really investigate the current product. They have that product, had that product already, and we were improving on it. This is pretty old. We investigated all the competitors and other suppliers in the market to get a good start, and also took a good look at all the stakeholders, so end users, but also installers, and also within Priva, the decision makers, and gather that all in a good start of the project and a really clear vision on product level. Definition, top left, you will see that here we decide on the features, functions, and the combination of that together with the physical product that you are making. We provide a lot of parallel solutions. We provide a way to choose and to evaluate those solutions. And we do that at a high level. So not detailed cut, but at a high level that we can move quickly and decide on the level that we need. So a lot of work, a lot of examples, a lot of this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, with pluses and minuses, configuration of the PCBs, a nice help in overview and a structured way to know how you need to choose. Left one is a really small visual of a risk management session that we do to set the whole project. So where do we take out which risk and how do we do that? And on the right is the project and project timeline that belongs to the concept choices. You can imagine if you have a product that nobody has, but you find out that it's actually because it requires a 5-year project to develop it. That's why nobody has it. You want to know now. After we've chosen the main direction and all the functions that will be in there, we detail it, because the question that you want to have answered here is the complete product, not just the concept, but is the product fulfilling your product market combination. And you need something to assess that. So what we will do in this phase is completely detail the product concept, the chosen and proven concept into the parts that you can really assess cost, technologies that you would need, PCB layout, but also really detailed visual representation so that all the stakeholders can really envision what will it be in the end, and is this what we had in mind? We wrote it down, but is this it? Once you have decided this, you go on. By now you are into one product line. So there are no parallel products, there are no questions anymore. This is it, and we're going to make this happen. Of course, next phase would then be, we have this, we made this, detailed this to the level that you need to decide, but that's not completely finished. Verification is the moment where we detail everything in detail to the components, to the real technology. If it wants to move. And this is, when I say detailed, I mean detailed. This is everything CAD-based, the real product functions and all the geometry needed for that is there. And congratulations, this is it. This is your project. This is your product. This is what you will deliver. We provide this content. We provide a fully working model on the right that you can test all the functions with. It's not tool-based. It's not ready to be produced, but it does work, and you can check and show and let stakeholders experience everything that this product will bring you, so that you can make this decision and not look back later. So basically, it is finished now. The only thing you need to do now is get it to the market. So the next phases are about optimization. Together with the supplier, we detail all the parts for production. So that's a big step from all the details for the function. It's now included with all the details for production, and it ends up with a big package of specifications that a supplier could just take on and produce this. In case of an injection molded product like this housing, most of this is going to a mold maker, and this is also the moment where you release the investment needed for that. Realization is the point where we have a functional product coming from the tools. So this is real, but it's not ready to be delivered to the market because you need certain certifications. You probably need to do a few long lifetime testing to really know that you will not get into trouble when you put it into the market. But basically, this is it. And in the end, it's finished. In this case, this is the introduction website from Priva, where this product in the end was launched. So this hike was pretty extensive. Like I showed in the beginning, we were in the lead in the beginning, helping with the vision, and in the end, the system supplier took over, and we helped getting it detailed out. It was also a special hike because this was modular based. So what I showed as one kind of linear thing in the beginning was actually the basis. And then after that, like 10 small mini projects going through the whole hike again, but then for the different versions of this product. The look and feel and UX was a big part of this because they wanted this to be their flagship product. What was also nice is that they kept focus on the installation and ease of use, which really gave focus to this development. It was quite a big project, so 400K is the money that we used up to help them, and the lead time for us was 2 years, or 16 months, sorry. And after that, of course, they took over in their normal process of getting it produced and delivered.
Okay. The second case, like mentioned, we do this a bit more high level, also respecting the time, but I hope you have a little bit of idea how to navigate within Lucid. So this second case is about a wall cover, ventilation wall cover. It's an outlet from air from a building. From Ubbink, the challenge of that product was to design a new wall cover with optimized airflow and more user focused, so minimum installation efforts. And Ubbink is a company with really high sustainability ambitions, so they wanted to see that back in their product as well, obviously. So that was the challenge. If you look at the hike we had with them, they already knew pretty well their vision, what they wanted. They even had a little concept direction. So that was our input. And Ubbink also is a company that they can produce all their products. So they produce everything in-house in the Netherlands. So that's why we also stopped after optimization. They know exactly how to produce. So that part they kept in-house, which is fine. So this was how the hike looked like. And if you then also take into account sustainability here, this is exactly what Kasper already mentioned. Where does sustainability start? That's not at the end where you apply recycled plastics or do a last twist for sustainability. No, you do it in the beginning. And in this case, what really helped is that it is supported by the management of Ubbink. So they have on company level a very clear vision on sustainability, and that results that these ambitions are directly translated into the requirements. So it always costs a bit more effort to get sustainability included, but it is part of their whole flow, part of their story, part of their brand. So it was very visible from day one, and for us then also very easy to work with. So we did all the steps, we did the life cycle analysis, everything. But again, it starts with the beginning. So that was very strong. That was their input that we visualized a rough idea how it could look like. So we took it from there and brought it to the right level. And then in this kind of projects where it's all about the user in the end, we came up with an idea to add a little hinge, and that helps the user to mount the product from a certain height with your hands free. And also for maintenance, it's really handy. So the hinge was the little trick to make it more user-friendly with some other details. And these kind of solutions we find in this stage of the project. This looks like a boring list. It's actually maybe what it is, but it is a risk analysis that we do in every project. And also this is really representing the quality that you can add. So in this list, in a relatively early stage, we break down the risk that we see on all kind of levels, things that can go wrong, and what measures do we take now to avoid that it will go wrong, or what fallbacks do we have later in the process to mitigate the risk still in a later stage. In the end, we score the risks. We also do it together with customers, with users, with all kind of stakeholders that see maybe different risks than we see, and we make sure we bring the risk to the right desired level. And we make an update in every phase, so we're always in control, and we always know why we do actions. Because we want to take down a risk, or we accept that a risk occurs, and we take a little risk in consultation with the customer. And that's also a very important part of the hike. What risk level does fit, and that also determines planning and budget. The airflow was an important part. So in this stage with verification, we did extensive testing at Ubbink on their test equipment with the real shape of the product. Like Kasper said, looks like, not make like, but we can test everything that is super representative for the end product. So when we knew that the user requirements were covered, the technology was working, it was proven, and we could detail it out to the level that was desired for Ubbink, and they took it from here, making production drawings, do the last tolerance analysis, all kind of detailing, also needed to scale up production. And then we have the end product that is actually on the market for, I think, 4 weeks now. So it's pretty fresh, and they are very happy with it, which also makes us very happy. What was specific for the hike with Ubbink? They already had a clear vision. Again, it's not necessary, but they had a clear vision, so we could use that. So we did. Their sustainability requirements were very clear from the beginning. That's also handy. Also, if you don't have that, we can also help with that. But yeah, it starts, I think, in the boardroom where they make it part of the brand and part of the portfolio. So it's not something you add in the end. You really need to focus on it from the beginning. We brought the first concept to the right level, and from that point, yeah, for us, translated it, we could put it in Lucid. Before it was still not on the right level, but when we tweak it, we make sure that the deliverable of the concept is on the right quality level. Then from that point, we know what to do, and it's structured and secured. We cracked the nut of the airflow optimization. That was a small little sub assignment within the project, very important, integral. The easy to install is a USP now, which is nice. So that box is also ticked. What made it unique was that they do the production themselves. And this was actually a very efficient project, $50,000. And what made it efficient is that they did the beginning and the end. So they had really clear, focused input. Of course, we did some important stuff to get to the end result in an efficient way, but they also did the end part, the detailing and the production. And if you can do that yourself, you can save a lot of time, or at least a lot of budget if you outsource it, because all that part you keep in-house. So that is also no problem. And the lead time was 18 weeks for the work we did. So that is a relatively short and efficient journey, which is fine. And then looking at the time, I think it still fits. We have the third and last case study, and this is Pipelife. It's an interesting project and customer. What's the challenge here? How to drill a hole in a living pipeline that's with water and insert various sensors, for example, to measure pressure without disturbing the operation. So the idea is that we insert sensors without cutting off the flow or whatever, which is quite an innovation also for them. They had an idea, at least a vision, what if this could work? So that is also something they delivered, and we went a little bit further with them until realization, and that last stage they also did themselves. This is their input. So this is the solution they had at that point, which was on the market, but for this you need to shut down the pipeline. So there are all kind of options to drill in the pipe, but there's no option to do it while being in operation. So we had some nice framework where we could start with, and we pretty in an early stage we already delivered some models how it could work. And this is a very technically oriented product, so there's not a lot of look and feel for sure. There is still a user involved, but it's mainly a technical challenge that we need to fix with space claims, pressures, water tightness, these kind of things. And we managed to crack that nut and translate it already in an early stage in a proof of concept. So this is a real model that we send to Pipelife that they test in their own facilities. And we find out, of course, after some loops of tuning that it works. And the nice thing there, and that's a nice thing to share, that enabled them to share already the concept on a fair. So they had a model, they knew the biggest risks are out, so we can already talk with interested companies, with prospects, and test if they are interested before we spend more money on development and investments in production tools. So they did. It was a success. So that also gave them the comfort to move on. And that's what we did, including verification in the field, the real deal with the real people, the real stakeholders that need to do the work in real life. So yeah, we were really digging holes with the feet in the ground, and also find out how it should work, and also learn a lot from these moments to optimize, because then you're really part of the real use case. In the end, we detailed out the whole thing, and what's also special about this project, they wanted to be quick to the market, so we delivered the first 100 units. So the end product we also delivered. So that's nice, because that saved them a lot of time. And I will tell you later also a little special thing about that. So looking back at the hike we had with Pipelife, what was interesting, they had very limited capacity available. So they outsourced it. Please solve this for us. However, they had really good input. So that also helps us to be efficient and self-supporting. So that went pretty well. Now, again, we delivered the first 100 products. And what's, I think, special about that is that we did that open book. So we have a bill of materials with all the parts, with all the assembly cost, with a whole breakdown of the cost price, which is 100% open to Pipelife. We put a reasonable margin on it, so we can also benefit from it ourselves. And with that insights, they have, and the first 100 products, we took out all the risks, so we prove it's producible, and we can scale it up onto 100. And they know exactly what everything costs and where the cost drivers are. So from the 100, they now go to other suppliers for the next 10,000, but they know exactly what is a reasonable price, and they can negotiate for a good price level. So that was a lot of value for them. What they also did, they did the sensor sourcing themselves. So the core of the unit is the sensor, of course. That's why you use the whole thing. And that they did themselves. And we think that's smart, because then they keep that knowledge themselves, and we help them facilitating that whole sensor getting into the piping. So that was a good strategic decision. If you look at costs, to give an idea, we spent $350,000 for the whole journey. That's excluded the parts that we delivered, but that's including the time that we spent to do the delivery. So that was the whole journey. And in the end, the lead time was 18 months, including the delivery. And I think that was one of the parts where we could really speed up for them and help them going quick to the market.
All right. Well,
I think we managed pretty well in time.
You
I
did.
hope.
You did. Thank you, guys. All right. In the interest of time, I think we can stay for a few extra minutes. We do realize that it is, it's, in your interest of time. If you need to leave, we understand. If you are willing and able to stay, we will stay for a few extra minutes to answer any of your questions. One of the things that I saw while working with a client with you guys that I really enjoyed was actually the shopping process. And what I mean by that is when you have that bill of materials, oftentimes our clients are like, I just don't know what material to make this out of, or I just don't know, I have an idea of what the bill of materials, but I just don't know in full. And so your team actually kind of goes in and really shops this out, like figures out the best materials, comes back with a list, and like goes grocery shopping in theory and brings it back in. And I found that to be really valuable for our manufacturers within the state of Rhode Island. And but I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let everyone ask questions if they have them. And I guess I would say, is there any in the chat right now? I know we asked about the booklet. There is a high level PDF.
So that's why I put this. This is the last slide of our presentation. I put this in so everyone can download Lucid Start. If you scan the QR code, you come to a small website There you can download Lucid Start. And if you like, we can, for participants of this webinar, we can offer a short hike with a senior developer.
Well, thank you,
So
Tom.
there are
That's
two options.
incredible. Yeah, like, and if anybody wants to take a hike with you guys, I'm excited for that journey and would love to be a part of it. And feel free to reach out to us. Any questions? Feel free to raise your hand. Katie, you had a question. You've had an international question. They're international. Maybe they have an answer for you. I know it's not directly related, but this could be a good platform.
Do we need to check the chat or?
Mm.
I think the big question I saw from the chat was from Robbie over at WaterAxe, and I think we already answered that. But then Dan just asked, who is an appropriate contact at MMID to talk to about getting work quoted? I think that'd be me. I'm the one that sits 200 feet from Kayla in the
Yep.
RI Commerce
Nice.
and Polaris building. So give me a call.
And Dan, that
keep
work
the
would
401.
still come through. That work would still come through Polaris MEP. You know, MMID is a third-party partner, so we'll still similar process to all of our projects. You'll work directly with MMID, but the proposal process and things will go through us. But this process is obviously a lot more in depth, and so than a lot of our other projects. And so when we talk about this, like that short hike that you're going to take to be able to start developing that plan, definitely reach out to Ben, and he'll keep us in the loop, and we'll kind of talk through that. And as there's an actual proposal that's being put together, we'll work together as a team to bring that.
Thank you, Kayla.
Kayla, what's Polaris's? So how does Polaris fit into this this equation?
Sure. So a couple different ways. So Polaris MEP, we are again a nonprofit to support the manufacturers in the state, and we have a team of about 15 that are experts in certain things, right? Like quality. So any ISO standards, we can come in and be able to support manufacturers with that. We do lean manufacturing, we do facility layout. We have a whole like gamut of things that we can do internally that we're experts in. Anything that we're not experts in, we reach out to the community, and we have a third-party program that we reach out to, and we get like verified partners such as MMID to say, hey, our clients actually still need this. Just because we're not experts in it doesn't mean that the manufacturers don't need it. And so those projects still run through Polaris MEP, but it's at no cost. So it's not going to cost you any different to go to MMID than it would to work through Polaris. You're actually just getting a project manager through Polaris MEP to support you through that process with MMID. So it's an addition to. For us, the kind of the benefit for you is that you're getting an extra kind of set of hands and that support you through that. For us, the way that works is Polaris MEP, the more projects we do with manufacturers, at the end of those, you get a survey 6 months to a year later that says, hey, did we help increase your business? Did we, increase sales? Did you ultimately hire new people, retain the people that you had, and we ultimately get more funding to be able to support the Rhode Island ecosystem and manufacturing ecosystem to be able to do more things. And it's a really important kind of whole process and ecosystem to continue doing projects with Polaris MEP. And our third-party program is a crucial part of that, because we realize that we're not experts in everything.
Great, thanks, Kayla.
And now every
Kayla,
MEP
I
center
think
has that. Go ahead.
I think I have to add on, it's also Rhode Island. We are 200 feet away. And even separately, if you reach out to MMID, I'm likely going to recommend you go talk to Polaris MEP in our first conversation. And a lot of these projects, they take a long time. So, You know, when you first come and talk to us, we might be talking and not charging you for a couple of months before any action is taken. So we know that there's a commitment. So I like having a sort of group of people you can rely on, including Polaris, in your immediate area before you, I guess, hit the ground running.